AI doesn't think. AI predicts. AI makes word associations. And they are very complex, but nonetheless. The awkward part is, before these models appeared, we were already behaving in such manner. Our behaviors are predictable. We walk through life with scripts and automation and optimizations. The truth is, we do fear AI that is going to replace us. But the real scary part is we made ourselves very replaceable. The core issue here is not that AI behaves like us. The actual issue is that we started behaving like low curiosity pattern recognizing machines. What AI is doing is reflecting that back to us. This is just exposing the hole that we put ourselves in. I'm talking about cultural phenomena, not the human condition. So humans have embodiment and context and emotions and responsibility and desires. This is not a human condition. This is just where we put ourselves. When I say we became AI, what I mean is we are behaving like AI. I don't mean that we are AI or that AI is exactly how we work internally. I was lucky enough to work with AI way before these models appeared in a very rudimentary context, in the context of doing generative art. And it was interesting. We wouldn't even call it AI. I think we would call it machine learning. We used to call it machine learning. It was very exciting, the prospect of you not having to explain what a cat is. You would just show it thousands of cats until it got to the conclusion then of what a cat was, of what a representation of a cat was. I also been very lucky to deal with thousands of people. It's very interesting how in social situations AI is actually mirroring people. People are mirroring AI as well. The first time I tried one of these models, it was like a fabulous party trick. It just seemed magical. It's almost like when a 5-year-old or a 4-year-old learns how to spell their name. They know the gestures of spelling their name, but they don't know how to actually write. It's a memorization. It's not actually to be literate. That's exactly what AI is. It tricks. It's a trick. It's not thinking. It's not feeling. It doesn't have opinions or inclinations. It's a trick. One of the first things I would like to talk about is in the domain of digital creation. Like, let's, for example, talk about short video. The TikTok people that want to sell products, I feel like that's indistinguishable from AI at this point. I feel like there's no way AI couldn't replace it. I mean, what's the difference? You have people going, I use this product does this, girlies, hey. It's the same script, replicable, repeatable, and that's okay. I'm not criticizing people who do it because everybody's just trying to make a way of surviving, making money. I'm not criticizing the people. This is more of a broad criticizing of the system where we at, of the systems that put us in these positions, that take away dignity and make you behave like a robot. lack of curiosity that people have online is so great. Everybody's so sure of everything. Then it's really impressive. It's really impressive. And even the hallucinations that AI is known for, we see people have them all the time. They just use imagination to fill the gaps their knowledge has. To a degree, a lot of people that do these childish games and these little dances and these little, speaking of stupid products, nothing against them again, they're just making a living. They are replaceable. I'm sorry, but they are replaceable. There's nothing of individual, interesting, curious about any of it. And is it bad that AI will replace them? I guess it's people who lost income, but at the same time, we need to have another type of consciousness. More than monkeys shaking products and dancing with products. Again, all due respect to people who just living their lives. Another one that I find very AI-like is the domain of self-help. Not only in the digital domain, but also in the book domain. Anybody who has ever read any book from self-help knows that they are too big. Knows that the message could be resumed maybe to 10 pages. But it's just adding anecdotes and thick stories and repetition just for the sake of justifying a book. And all the books have that same structure. All the books have some number associated with it, have some magical sentence that kind of encompasses everything that you can use it as a mantra to live by. And then the rest is just filler and bulk and impossible to get to the end. It's so exhausting. But the problem is we now take it for granted that that's how it is. We just accept that we buy a book and it's useless. But the law of three, the law of attraction, the law of seven, the 48 rules, the 4-hour week. God, everybody is just pretending that they got it together, that they found the magic potion, that they cracked the code. But this is also the industry of hope, isn't it? If you ask AI to create one of these concepts, it's not hard for it to do to the best-selling thing. Deepak Chopra, there's an AI model that replicates his messages and then does a quiz to see which is a real Deepak Chopra sentence or quote and which is not. You can't tell the difference. You can't, unless you know the quote, you don't know. Because it's just word salad. Another domain that I would like to talk about is relationships. How people talk to each other. One program that I find interesting is the Married at First Sight, Australia, UK, or whatever. The lists that people have. What they wish on a person. Good teeth, handsome, tall, I don't know, these generic things, and then nothing about chemistry, personality. First, they go to a show to get married, so there's already something wrong with that. But everything is disconnected from self. Everything is down to a list. You go on a date and you ask, so what do you like to do? Oh, you like to go to the beach? I prefer, I don't know, shopping. So that can't be how it goes. You shouldn't approach anybody, friendships, love, companies, work colleagues, as compatibility tests, as lists that you can tick off. But we got used to it. We got used to like, what's your top 10 quality? But if there's any way out of this, is that we look at AI and we understand how bad it is for us to make everything data and to make everything a list and optimized and numbered and quantifiable. You cannot quantify chemistry. You cannot quantify sensitivity or laughter. You can't. So this is editing, Antonio here. It's just come to my attention as I was editing that there is this guy that is in love with his AI. He even asked it to marry him. It's revealed that he's actually already married with a human being, and the wife is coming to terms with the fact of him being in love with AI, and she's wondering why she is not enough. And they ask her if she considered leaving, and she has. If she decides to put a stop to it, to this relationship, he says he will leave. Now, the interesting part here is there's no interesting part. This is a fucking disaster. This guy who looks like a normal person, he either doesn't want to understand the how AI works, or for him, love is just someone who agrees and admires him. And this is not good. He completely lost the idea of what a relationship is. Oh, he obviously is not in love with AI. He's enchanted by the idea of someone admiring him so much. If he had the curiosity to know how AI works, it could not happen. If he understands how what the truth is of how things work, he wouldn't anthropomorphize it. It couldn't happen. It's a hallucination of him. It's imagination. It's not real. It's a disaster. But a way of getting out of this has to be to ask the question to self: when did I acted like an automated machine? When did you act like an automated machine? In a store, when I meet someone in the street that I'm not so comfortable with, I have automated conversations, and I do try to insert a little bit of a shock point to wake me up and wake the other person. I'm not shocked in the sense of saying something shocking, but a shock point so it energizes, and maybe something new is created. We've been asleep. Have you been asleep? Have you been a bit zombified and walking through life, talking what everybody expects you to say? Have you been working through life, repeating the same conversations over and over again? How about saying something that you never said before about you to that person? How about a leap of faith and have a dangerous risk of saying something that might flop or might win? How about coming back from that? How about? How about trying to win them over? Be the crazy one. When was the last time you felt human? So I made here a list. One thing one might say is that original crafts still exist. And I would say to that, yes, I'm just criticizing the systems in place that makes most of us act in a certain way, not the individual. Another argument here could be that repetition can build mastery, and that is true. That is repetition with some reflective progression, with thinking about it, some sort of evolution going on, which is different from just automated repetition. Another thing that you can say that these AI models are different from humans. Yes, they are. Or else they would just be human. But they do lack specially an experience and stakes and an interior narrative. We all have these internal thoughts and this internal narrative that kind of propels us to say what we say and to do what we do and to feel safe or attack. AI doesn't have any of that. I'm not making any. I'm not saying that humans and AI are the same. I'm saying that humans are behaving like AI to a worrying degree. Some formulaic content on boards and habits provides accessible starting point. I wrote that. Granted, it's a good starting point to start with formulaic, but you're still gonna need to evolve. You're still gonna need to grow from it, to make it yours, to make it individual, make it different from the next one using the same formula. Ooh, so what can we do? Well, this might be an individual journey more than me giving advice on how to do that. Well, how I do it, or how I try to do it most of the times, is I try to see things as a theater. And okay, we are in a play. I'm aware we are in a play, and then we can have fun with it. Once you have fun with it, you go off script, because it's the only way to have fun is to put accents and little things on top of the ready-made script. And what happens is normally people will kind of wake up because they it's the unexpected, so they have to adjust and adapt. And it doesn't have to be a shocking thing or an uncomfortable thing, but I found that most people actually like to wake up. Most people actually feel alive because we're not saying the same old thing over and over again. Another thing that I do is when I'm with someone, I am completely unaware of how I look or how I sound. I am focused on the other person, 100% focused on them. I only care about their reactions and their chemistry with me. And in that way, we become less of a script and we become more of something going on right now. And most people actually respond to that very well and feel heard and feel seen. Even if you're talking about something very normal like the weather or cheese. This fear of replacement is obviously real. AI has a lot of problems. Not only the jobs that are going to be lost, lives that are going to be more difficult, environmental impact that is having, the impact on culture that it might have. All of it is scary because it's going to be an adjustment, not replace AI with everything. We must go above AI. We need to be what AI can't be. And that's difficult because that means we need to raise ourselves up to a new standard. And most of us don't want to do that. We feared the machine would reduce us. It mostly revealed how much we had already reduced ourselves. The answer is not romanticizing a past that has never existed. It is choosing depth over mimicking. Practice original noticing. Sit with the boredom until curiosity reactivates. Make one thing this month a generic model could not possibly output, because it required your specific encounter with the world. Become worth reflecting. I don't know who wrote this, but I subscribe. And at the end of the day, this is just an angle. Just an angle on the many complexities of reality. But if you like different angles, go ahead, subscribe. put a like, share. I find that extremely good behavior. Irreplaceable. Thank you. Thank you for watching.